Hello, everyone, and Phwoar. We'll be talking to Paul from Phwoar. Nudge, nudge, Nick, wink, wink. You know, a nudge is as good as a wink. Right after this from the people at Analog Trash.
Keep on, don't stop. Keep on, don't stop. Keep on, don't stop.
Paul, how are you?
I'm grand, thank you, and I really appreciate, Graham, the gusto with which you pronounce Phwoar. We really enjoy it when people really get into it.
Really go for it.
Yeah. Yeah.
I noticed on some of your social media and stuff that you've had to tell people how to pronounce it. So I just want to know, because it's always fun and games, right?
Yeah.
And I'm not having to go at anybody here, because I know that I've pronounced people's names wrong on this over the years, and I've said band names, and it's embarrassing. It's embarrassing, right? Sometimes it's just, but even though I've practiced it, I've then still got it wrong, right? But what is the worst version of Phwoar that you've had?
We got PHWOR once.
PHWOR.
Yeah, and I was like, I like that. That's somebody's thinking about every single letter. PHWOR. They weren't a native English speaker, so to be fair,
Right.
you know what? There's nothing wrong with getting the names wrong every now and then, because it means that you came by that name via reading, which is always a noble pursuit anyway. So there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah. Oh no, it does make for some. It does make for some interesting clips though on social media. If you go to the top of my Instagram, there's still to this day pinned up there an interview that I did with Bishop, which was great fun, because nobody ever gets her name right.
Right.
Because she's literally, what she's done is she's taken the, I'll get this right, she's taken the vowels out of her name.
Oh,
right?
yeah. That seems to be the thing now.
And so people just call her Bishop.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh, they're trying to do it literally, because they're totally not on the music thing, but I think Aberdeen tried to rebrand themselves with ABDN, and then they were forced to walk it back because people were not happy with it.
No.
They were like, no one's going to know what we're called. They're going to call us Aberdeen.
But it was great fun. I told her at some point she ought to do a dance track where it's just like, psh, 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 you know, how people getting it wrong, because it'd be great.
Yeah, and then every time that hook comes back in, it can be a slightly different version of it.
Yeah. Now tell me. Do you know what? It's very cliche in a way to when you're interviewing people to talk about influences or whatever. But I'd love to know yours, because you hear your sound and it's like, do you know what? The immediate thing that sprung to mind, right? And you can chastise me forever and a day, Paul, for saying this, but it's just because of the energy. The immediate thing that sprung to mind was when the Ting Tings first came out with their hit and whatever, and it's just like the energy of that, the kind of punk energy of that, the big guitars, the big chorus, etc. That kind of immediately sprung to mind. I mean, actually, I listened to one of their latest songs the other day, and I thought, oh, well, they've tried to become sophisticated, which is nice. But I kind of miss that kind of
Yeah, so I like that analogy. You actually, Graham, you're the first person to have said the Ting Tings. We've got with this latest EP, we've got Death from Above 1979 a couple of times.
Yeah.
But it kind of changes quite often. We get a few different bands thrown at us as touchstones, I suppose. So, but I like that. Exactly what you're saying is kind of what we're going for, which is energy or a feeling, especially I don't want to overthink the music too much, because I think that music it comes from somewhere that isn't just here. Do you know what I mean? It's there's so much more to it, and I think when it works, it's something that you're not conscious of it. It's something, it's channeling something inside you, you know, and that's why it's such a subjective medium as an art form as well. You know, like I'll have bands that I listen to depending on my mood that I wouldn't listen to if I'm feeling the opposite mood. Do you know what I mean? Like I don't listen to Radiohead when I'm like about to go out on a night. Do you know what I mean?
I'm getting ready for a night out. We're going out. We're going to have a few beers. We're going to go down. You know, we're going to go down to this club or whatever. And I just thought I'll put on Karma Police.
Yeah, Karma Police, followed by No Surprises.
Yeah.
The life of the party, and I'm going to make everybody feel really miserable when I get there.
Yeah. And then and then when we get in the car, I'm going to listen to the Smiths. Heaven knows I'm miserable now.
Yeah. Or of course, there's a light that never goes out, right? Take me outside, take me anywhere. That's a great driving song, actually.
Oh my word! I mean, these are great songs. Don't get me wrong. I mean, I think there's a time and place. There's a time and a place, and also with both of those bands that we just mentioned as well. I think there's a beautiful difference between the way that those songs perhaps came across on the albums, really well produced, really highly produced, really clever in all of the layers and the parts and whatever, and the type of energy that they would give that live, you know. So, you know, if you went to watch Radiohead performing one of those songs live, it would have a different feel to it than that on the album.
I always said that, like, it's kind of a bit like theatre is music, in that you're not the only one participating when you're on the stage. You've got an entire audience who, depending on the energy they're bringing into the room as well, and it's primarily our job as musicians to kind of dictate where that energy goes. But there's an exchange for sure that's going on there. Certainly when it feels like it's going really well, it feels like there's an exchange. And when I'm getting something from the crowd, like, I'm definitely more involved. I feel way more connected to what I'm playing. It feels better, you know.
Definitely. Well, it's a lot more difficult and a lot less fun, but a lot more challenging when you've got just two people in front of you and they're both like stood there with their pints, like
yeah. No, totally. Like, it's a challenge though. Like we've played gigs like that, you know. I mean, it's all part and parcel of the fun of it. But, like, you know, when I'm doing that, I'm like, and you see, there's that one song where the phone goes away and suddenly, like, you get this kind of like very small nod from the bloke. Like, I won him over.
Well, you know? Interestingly, when I back in the day when I was in a band and I was a singer and whatever, I would be the kind of
people, was it?
That's right. Yeah. Well done. I would be the kind of front person that would go and challenge it. So, you know, I'd like to get out into the crowd and, like, get right up in people's faces. And
yeah, I'm the same as you, mate. I'm like, I like getting off the stage. Like, there is no such thing as a fourth wall for me with music. It is like I said, it's more participatory in a way.
Yeah.
And so, like, if I don't break that kind of that line, that
if they're not coming to you, you go to them.
100%. Yeah, absolutely. And, like, because it's like, it's my way of saying it's all right to, like, this is
it's all right to enjoy yourself. It's all right to enjoy yourself.
It's so true though with British crowds. It's like, I think, you know, sometimes people just need that permission to kind of enjoy it the way that they want to enjoy it. And for different people, that's a different thing. Some people just want to sit there and just quietly take it in, but other people want to get in and move their bodies and stuff. And like, but everybody kind of needs that permission, I think, to enjoy it in their way.
I'm gonna carry on and talk to you about that line, because it's quite interesting, because it's something that I've been outside of the music scene in my professional life. I've actually been talking about recently. In fact, I've been doing some webinars on it, etc., which is this whole thing about permission, because it's a massive thing. And I've been doing some webinars on how to go viral on different platforms.
I'm gonna have to watch that.
Right.
I need to know.
and actually, one of the big elements of that is that it is about giving people permission.
Yeah.
Right.
Totally.
And I certainly very much with an English audience, this is a whole mindset thing, and it's very, very much of this kind of generation as well. Where people are kind of in this in between area where they want to come across as very professional and very sleek and very,
debonair,
yeah, and very, very, knowledgeable and all of that. A thought leader, but then on the other hand, they're just inside. They know they're just a child, and
I totally agree.
Want to be a bit naughty, and they want to be able to say something a little bit risque and a little bit that might upset people and whatever. And when you find a way of giving people permission to break some of that barrier down, and then maybe say something without saying something, then they just go for it.
Yeah, and then they're the best crowd in the world, right? Like, I've seen crowds that have had that moment of like that almost epiphany in where you're like, oh, you can be whoever you want to be, and suddenly the crowd just like flips, and it's in a great way, and you just suddenly like it's a fascinating thing to watch that transformation as well. Like
it is
quiet and kind of quite staunch and like could be just like a very well put together person, and then suddenly they just like let everything go.
We are going to play a game now, Paul.
Okay.
Right. Because you wanted to know a little bit about this going viral thing. So my latest big viral post on LinkedIn is this. Okay, so it's currently stands at there we go. I'll get the figures in there. 57,000 impressions.
Oh, wow.
Right.
But that's on LinkedIn. Bloody hell. I don't think I've ever had 5.
Okay. Right. So what it is it's a photo of my of a phone screen, right? And you can play along if have you got a phone? Got a phone. Great. Okay, we can play along. You can play along at home as well. It's called Misogyny Check.
Okay.
I said it's not any Facebook where this is needed, right? Be careful and considerate about how you comment below. Misogyny check. Let your phone complete the sentence. So you have to put this into somewhere on your phone where it's predictive text.
So Google. Let's go with Google.
Google, yeah. Women are, and then see what your phone comes up with.
Right. I'm going to be honest. Wow. Okay. Let me just show it to you before I read it out, because then, then it's like I'm not making it up. This is really weird, right? So the first thing I've got is men are from Mars, women are from Venus.
Yeah.
Never read it. Women are wonderful effect. Not even a coherent English line.
No.
That could be coming from me. And then the third one is Women Are Angry, the Times self-help book of the year 2024. Looks really fascinating. It's about women's emancipation by the looks of things.
Yep.
Do you want me to, I can keep going?
No, I think that's great. Now, the next thing is you need to pick one of those. Which one are you going to turn into a song?
Oh, I like this. Okay. Well, I mean, Women Are Angry, right?
I think so.
Brilliant. Because
what a title.
Yeah. Brilliant. And of course, like we're a 50-50 band. Like Helena, loves that and used to play in a Riot Girl band actually before we started, called Macadamia Sluts, and
love it.
So like it's of that genre for sure. But yeah, Angry.
But I think it'd be a great song title because on the one hand, it sounds very Riot Girl. It sounds very punk. It sounds very kind of like in your face, against the establishment, all of that sort of thing. But on the other hand, if you read where that comes from, etc., it's about as you say, emancipation. It's about So you could write a fantastic song on that.
Yeah, actually, like in my head right now, like the gears are turning. Like
it's going.
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, wait out for PHWOR and Women Are Angry. That will be a future single.
Yeah.
There we go. It's tremendous. It's
There
a
we
great
go.
game. It's a great game.
It's
And
really fun.
I honestly think if if bands get stuck for inspiration, whatever, there you are, there's a game. But going back to that permission thing, the reason it worked is because people put whatever the phone said, right?
Yeah.
And because it's not them that are saying it, it's what their phone is saying.
Yeah.
Then they feel comfortable in putting it. But then once they start putting it and then they get the reaction to it, they feel comfortable in then continuing that conversation because it's someone started it. I think that's what probably a band like you do as well. I think you start the conversation, and because you make that comfortable, people then let go a bit and they start with the energy. And do you feel that's
I love that. Yeah. I couldn't agree more. Like the whole idea for us is like we try and be self-reflective and everything. So like a great example, I suppose, of a song that does that is Reckless. And it's effectively about the disillusionment with social media right now. Now, it can be a great thing, as we've just been chatting about vis-a-vis your LinkedIn post, right? But I definitely feel like it has more control over me these days than I do over it sometimes. And certainly over my emotional reactions. I feel like I'm being manipulated. And so that the song could have easily just been me railing on about how bad the social media is and how, but I tried to make it as much about myself and my own relationship with it as just a song that was criticizing something. And that's exactly what you're talking about. I just wanted to start a conversation, and I think it afflicts everybody in some way or another. And so then, that's out there then. And again, coming back to what I was saying about there's this kind of thing where music isn't just 100% the job that we're doing on the stage or on record. It really is like we make the song, but then it becomes somebody else's when it's out there. When you collect it or you save it on Spotify or whatever, it becomes part of your collection because there was something in there that you could there was like a space for you to put your own thoughts in there, not telling you how to think, but encouraging you to like connect with something because you also think in a similar way. Yeah. And I think, like a lot of if I were to look at your record collection, like I wouldn't know why you've chosen those necessarily, but I'd have a really good insight into how you think and like what you're interested in, because why have you chosen those particular records and made them a collection, kind of gathered them together. Really, it's a compendium, isn't it?
Do you do that when you go to someone's house? Do you look through their record collection? I do.
Yeah. And 100%, and books especially. Like I'm the worst. I'm the guy that everybody else is like going, oh, how's it been? What you been up to last week? And I'm already at the bookcase. I'm gonna look through.
Okay. Look, we're gonna play another game because this is fun. This is I don't normally do so many games, but this is great. But I'm gonna say sort of pick a number between 1 and 30.
Okay. 27.
27. Okay, folks, this bit might be a little bit boring, but you just have to kind of whistle along.
Stay tuned.
Okay. 27, you say?
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, okay. All right. This is quite interesting.
Right,
27. Right. So you got to say what this says about me now.
No, this is awkward. All right, here we go.
So this is Two Door Cinema Club.
Oh, great. Brilliant.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
Two Door Cinema Club.
So if people are just listening to this and not watching the video, it's a beautiful piece of artwork for starters. Really lively, really vibrant. It's Two Door Cinema Club, so I mean, it's good. Shows you got good taste. But like, I don't know. I find this really hard this is a hard game.
Do you know why it doesn't work? The reason it doesn't work is because what happens is when you look at someone's record collection, You have
Yeah.
to look at it in context. It's the
Yes.
same with everything else,
Yes.
right? It's absolutely the same as everything else. So seeing one record on its own
That's it.
doesn't really tell you anything, does it? Right? When you see it within a collection,
Yeah.
right, then you
And how
go
you've arranged it as well, like that.
exactly. Well, how do you arrange your records? Because I do not arrange mine
No, mine
alpha-
have just
alphabetically. I literally arrange it by sort of chucking them in, but then sort of like what I might want to listen to, sort of thing. Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
So it's kind of it's a bit like my brain.
But
It's a very
you
kind
know where everything is, so it doesn't matter, right? Like it doesn't have to, you know, like I'm the kind of guy, like, I mean, you can see my books behind, like it's a mess. It's just a complete mess.
It's not a mess. It's an organized chaos.
I know where everything is. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Totally. Yeah.
It's a little bit ADHD, and that is kind of that's kind of absolutely okay.
Yeah, we contain multitudes, you know.
We do. I definitely get that from your music. I definitely get you are starting a conversation. I definitely get like you're a bit like I'm doing with this show. You're trying to open up a dialogue.
Yeah.
You're trying to get people to interact with that and kind of say something back into the equation as well. Do you then feed off of that? Do you then, if like people are then interacting with you online and whatever, do you then feed that back into the music? Say, for example, you've written a song which is kind of talking about social media and whatever, and then that gets people talking about, yeah, I have this issue with social media and that issue. Does that then get you thinking about the reaction to that? And then does that then become a song?
Oh, that's interesting. I don't know if it is, because a lot of how I choose to write, certainly lyrically, is based on me trying to work through a problem. Yeah, it's very selfish. You know, like I'm just
but you know what though? That's honest.
Yeah.
That's honest, right?
Yeah.
Because I think this is, I'm sorry to cut across you there, but I think this is one of the issues that I think all of us have with things like social media, which is pseudo authenticity.
You're chasing the algorithm, right? Which is the problem.
Well, I was actually going to say, you know, when you were saying earlier on about, you know, having a problem with social media and it controlled you more than, you know, you controlled it. But I think this is one of the problems for anybody that's on their way in the music industry, is you have to play the game, right? It's all very well for the likes of Ed Sheeran, who, you know, says, and I'm not having a go at Ed Sheeran, right? It's great. I'm sure he's a great guy, but it's all very well for someone like Ed Sheeran that says, oh, I had to bury my phone. I decided I'd bury my phone and put it in the box, but then I had to, you know, take it out when the court case came about. And that's why I wrote this song, because I looked at my phone. I hadn't looked at it for years because I don't normally have a phone.
Very relatable, is it?
Right. Or Damon Albarn that says that I don't have a phone, you know, but whatever, because those people will have other people around them that are doing like the day-to-day, this, that, and the other, whatever.
The might of the industry.
But everybody else that's on their way up has to interact with this stuff, right? Because otherwise they don't have that interaction.
I mean, especially as a DIY duo, like we have to do it all, and it's not like there's no one to farm it out to. So we are everything. And the thing that we always chat about as being the hardest is like, you have to be an expert at everything. If I did a music video and it looked cheap, right, and it looks like it was badly made and it was just crap, then it's a bad music video, and then that really hits us. It makes us look unprofessional. And so there's this expectation on the outside, you know, like one of the things that we get, especially sending our music out, is people are thinking about the production. Is the production good? And that's really that really is then a question of, well, actually, either A, are you a really good producer and a good musician, which a lot of people coming through are nowadays, we're not very good at the production side of things. So then the second thing is, well, and do you have enough money to pay somebody who's good enough? And we were lucky enough that we were able to work with Adrian Hall, who liked what we were doing and wasn't doing the like professional rate for us. But we still had to save up like tons for ages to basically be able to afford that. But how great and how lucky we were to be able to work with him. But again, that's like one of those things of like, we can't do everything well enough on our own. It's just impossible. So it's, then you have to think about bringing in people to do some of that. And with the social media side of things, I mean, yeah, we could probably pay somebody to do that, but really, ultimately, the only time people are going to take interest in you anyway is when you're doing something interesting as an artist, beyond the social media. If you're getting really good at social media, then you're probably neglecting the music. And so you're constantly having to play this game of what do we give the most time to grow properly, but not let something else kind of wither and die on the vine, because we always will have to come back to that. And so we're constantly having to do, it's like whack-a-mole, it's like, but ultimately what we did with this EP, which we hadn't really done before, is we've spent more time focusing on everything goes into the music first. And if that means we neglect social media for a month or two, so be it, right? But that's a constant, it's a constant battle and a conversation that we have to keep having, like, oh God, are we not spending enough time doing this or that? Or yeah.
But I'm going to say to you, as someone that runs a social media marketing business, you're doing it I believe you're doing it the right way round.
Okay.
I believe you're doing it the right way round. And because the one thing that I say when I do training with clients, etc., is fill your diary with activity, not with content.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. And the reason I say that is because actually what I see most of the world doing is people get overly consumed by this whole idea that I've got to produce content, content, right? And the point I'm making there is, actually, if you do what you're meant to be doing on this earth, right, which in your case is making great music and making people happy, right?
Yeah.
Then you've got content, right? When you're not making music, what are you writing about? Yeah,
that's it.
Right. Yeah. It's like, and it's no different for like business people and whatever as well. People come to me and they go, right, I'm not sure what to write for my content. It's like, do you know what's in your diary at the moment? Nothing. Well, first of all, go and fill your diary.
Yeah.
Go to events. Go and speak at a conference. Go and do a webinar. Go and do this. Go and do that. Go and make something happen. Because when you're making things happen, then if you come back to me, I can just be a mirror to all of that, and I can show the world what you're doing.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
If you're not doing anything exciting, I've got to make it all up. Yeah. I've literally got to pretend that you're exciting, and you're not. You're dull as dishwater. And nobody's interested.
Yeah. Nobody's interested. And that's basically described what we ultimately landed on as a content strategy for, say, Instagram, which was, look, we'll do the music thing, and there will be periods of time like those 2 months where we have nothing to talk about, so we're just not going to talk, because also that takes time to craft a post and stuff. But then when we have the release cycle, which is now, and we're doing the fun bit of just talking about a thing we already did, well, we can talk about the thing we did because we know what we're talking about as well, and it just feels like the hard part of being a musician is done then, but it's done, and that's the key part.
Exactly. And the point is, you can spend a little bit of time, you can come on a little show like this, and then we can make a clip about you looking on your phone and then deciding that this is going to be the best new single that you've ever written, which you haven't written yet, and that's great content.
Yeah, right? It is. Absolutely. Yeah. And I love it. And that's the thing. And for me, actually, as well, like this is so much more enjoyable because it's just like getting just not even apropos of the music that we've created, just being able to like have chats with people about music, because that door's been opened by the fact that we made music in the first place. That's the joy for me. Like, I really enjoy that. Whereas when I have nothing to say because I haven't made anything yet, I haven't created anything yet, then I feel like I'm having a conversation with nobody, and nobody wants to engage, and it feels extraordinarily lonely as well, because it's, yeah, there's nothing for anyone to engage with in the first place.
It's got, look, the music that you're producing is fantastic, right?
Thanks.
Absolutely fantastic. So you just keep on doing it and let the rest of us catch up. It's fine. Let the rest of us catch up. Where do you want it all to end up? I mean, if I could throw an opportunity at you tomorrow, and I said, right, we're gonna put you on support with whoever, or we're gonna get you on stage somewhere or other in the world, where would be the dream?
Well, if it was ever, then we'd love to be able to just do a world tour, where, like kind of like where what Idols are doing right now or something like that, like where they're just kind of touring around the world and getting to play these amazing places. Or Big Special as well. Like, we look at them and kind of go, because they're from the West Midlands as well, and like just look at them and go, there's so many stages down the road of where we would like to be. But to take your question literally, tomorrow we would want something that would make sense, that we're ready for. Like, there are certain stages that I don't know how to play well. As a duo as well with Helena, she's sat at the drums. Like, we still are working out our stagecraft. And so we're great on small stages where I can get off and into the crowd. But, give me too big of a stage and I have the worst stage fright. So I still need to learn how to do that. Because I think it's just the unknown. And but a kind of 200 cap venue or 300 cap venue, like, I love it because I can get off the stage and into the crowd, but I haven't worked out what to do with the bigger stuff yet. So like we're building up, and every kind of 6 months we have this new plan, which is a bit further and a bit further and a bit further. So yeah, give me an opportunity tomorrow. The dream would be to play a small stage at Glastonbury. I think that would be the dream for tomorrow. Like, that's cool. Just down the road, make it happen. Let's see that happen. Bit of advice about the whole, big, larger the stage, etc. Right. I think is this, which is, and it's the same bit of advice that someone gave me very early on when I first started radio, because I landed a show very early on and I was rubbish. Utter rubbish. We all are at the beginning, right?
We all are, right? I was particularly rubbish, but someone said to, and I had this kind of like deer in the headlights moment, because somebody said to me, "Oh, your listenership is like 300,000 people," and I'm like, "My word, that's a lot of people." But someone very, very wise said to me, they said, "Don't even ever think about the size of that audience, right? Just think you are having a conversation with one person."
Okay.
Right.
Yeah. Okay.
And if you're having a conversation with that one person, then actually what's happening is that your conversation with that one person will bring that one person, who is actually 300,000 people, into the conversation, right?
Yeah. Okay. I love that. Yeah.
And it's the same way. I've compared stages in front of 30,000 people and whatever, and I will pick out one person in the audience and I'll look directly at them and I will have a conversation with them.
Right.
And then that, just all of that around there disappears. You're having that conversation. And when you start to get that reaction from that one person, because you pick the one person that's actually not doing that.
Yeah. Yeah. Or watching it through their phones, of course.
But it's looking keen, right? Once you feel that, then actually you can start to open up your periphery vision a little bit more, and you feel comfortable because you know that you've got that connection there. So that's my Tip for
That's
today.
great advice. Yeah, and I think I've probably subconsciously started doing that because I do fixate usually on one person in the crowd, and it's you. If it's a friend, it's great. Because they find that really weird and intense, but it's like, it's fine, you're a friend. But like, I definitely have freaked a few people out as well. Where they're like, why are they just looking at me? But yeah, it makes sense because it's like, okay, they seem interested. And I think that is, it's subconsciously, I've noticed these people seem to be into what we're doing. They seem to be having a good time. And so I want to keep going back to their reaction because that's a great reaction.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the other thing that I would say is do what we did earlier, because I think your songs do it, right? I think do that yourself as well, which is, like, when someone's nervous as a front person, whatever, and they go, "Are you having a good time?"
Yeah,
Now,
I know. Yeah.
if you're famous, right?
Yeah.
And like, if Ed Sheeran walked out at Wembley and whatever and went, "Are you having a good time?" Everybody would be going, "Yay!"
Yeah.
Of course I'm having a good time because I've paid a lot of money to be here.
Yeah.
Right. But do you know what I mean? You probably they probably wouldn't even care what he said. They'd just be like, "Yay!" whatever.
Yeah.
But when you're kind of having to win that crowd over and whatever, it's the worst thing you can possibly do. Are you having a good time? And like, one person goes, "Not really," and it's like, "Oh."
Luckily we've not had a heckler yet, but like,
you know what I mean?
You have a rule though that we don't use that. Like we're really careful about how we talk to people because again, it's like we don't want to use any stock in trade phrases. We don't want to ask people how they're doing. We don't we try not to tell people what to do. And I think that's, again, going back to exactly what you were saying earlier, where you want to invite people in, or better, make them feel like it's their idea to come in, but you don't want to be like, right now you're going to be singing this thing right now, or like, like, I need you to move forwards. Like, we don't tell people to move forwards. We encourage people to move forwards by the way we play. And that's kind of been a rule that we've done all the way through. And I think it is instinctively the same thing, right? It's like, we don't want to be the band that's going, "Hey guys, how's it going?" And it's a silent room because you've got to be like the leader on stage, even if you feel like you just want to kind of curl up into a little ball because everyone's staring at you, and that's not a natural thing to have. It's just a herd of people just staring at you. Out in the wild, that means that you're going to be attacked by a bunch of hyenas. But like on the stage, it's like people are expecting you to do something, to be a leader in a way, because the stage conveys kind of a leadership upon you.
Yeah.
Even if it's just leading a person's emotions for 30 minutes or whatever.
I think I think it's back down to that. Tell a little story about where this came from, what it meant to you to write this or whatever, right? But then give people permission. I saw somebody do it really well not so long ago, and they were talking about how in fact they made it into a whole little sort of dialogue throughout the evening. They started off by going, "This song was about that, and I suffer from anxiety, and when I suffer from anxiety, I do this and I do that." And then she went, "And I just need to know, does anybody else here suffer from anxiety?" And like hands went up.
Yeah.
And then the next song came on, and she just played the next song, and then she went, "Now, just checking on the anxiety meter. How many more people are going to be honest about having anxiety now?" And then like a few more hands went up, and she just carried on this anxiety thing. And I thought that was really quite nice. And it just gave people were slowly but surely opening up to the whole narrative about perhaps having anxiety, and it was lovely. So I think things like that work really, really well.
Beautiful example of the permission we were chatting about as well. Like it's again, I think I'm just thinking about bands that really do it. We were about to see this evening, actually, we're going to go and see Viagra Boys play on stage. And again, that's that same, there's a kind of silliness, there's that kind of that permission to kind of be silly and let go of like the seriousness of the world when you're in their shows. And it just feels good. It feels good. People don't go out to kind of be serious. They go out to have a good time, right? I mean, especially like folks who have to go and get a babysitter or something like that as well, get someone to look after their dog while they're out. Like, they're not doing all of that to go and sit in a room and kind of have somebody on stage kind of be all maudlin and like self-effacing. You want somebody to kind of see you almost, and that's that interesting thing. It's like there's a two-way thing, really. Like the crowd is looking at you, and that's kind of weird, but at the same time, those crowds are looking at you to be seen themselves in a way. It's just you have to acknowledge that you see them in a way that like includes them and encourages them to kind of participate with what you're doing. And that's the trick. That's the thing that we're always thinking about and trying to work on and improve. And I love seeing bands that do it well, like you were just chatting about there, or artists. Because it's like something opens up in your mind and you're like, oh, okay, yeah, there it is. Like they did something and it was just everybody was with them. Like
totally. Well, listen, have a good time when you go and see them this evening. Thank you so much for coming on and talking to me today. Do pass on a message to that band this evening if you do get to chat to them as well, which is they should have a t-shirt that says I get up for the Viagra Boys.
Most likely do.
We're like just somebody in bed just getting up,
but
that would be a great t-shirt. I think a lot of people would wear that. Just carry on doing what you're doing, mate, because it's absolutely tremendous. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the amazing Paul from PHWOR. We will be putting out some clips of this soon. Do look out for those as well. And if you haven't already, go and check out their music and then stop and talk to them on the Instagram and let them know that you're alive, because they would love that. We will be back soon with more My Music. You can check out previous episodes or catch up with us and hear the story at mymusicpodcast.com. Do like, follow, share, all of that sort of stuff. I don't know how it all works. It's buttons. But until next time, bye for now.